Telesport. From Chapel Hill, the home of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Telesport and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association present the 3A High School Football Championship game. Tonight at Keena Stadium, the A.L. Brown Wonders take on the Burlington Cummings High School Cavaliers. Tonight's telecast is brought to you by Rose's Discount Store. Great prices every day. That's our promise. By John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade for that deep down body thirst. And by McDonald's of the Carolinas. Good time. Great taste. That's McDonald's.
Crisp night for football in Chapel Hill, but it's also a perfect night for football in Chapel Hill. Hello again, everybody. I'm Rich Brenner, who along with Tom Landsiddle will be calling tonight's game. We'll be assisted on the sidelines by Don Shea and Lane Harris. And Tom, when you look for a championship matchup, I think we've got it in this game. A defending state champion, Burlington Cummings, 14-0, 29 straight wins against the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown, 13-1.
Two super football teams, and two football teams are fun to watch. But they get things done in different ways, and that's what's going to make it interesting. First, Kannapolis, ball control. They've gotten stronger throughout the year because they've developed their offensive line and their running game. But then on the other hand, you have Burlington Cummings, who passes the ball 4 out of 5 times. Incredible passing statistics. Will probably set some national passing statistics before it's all said and done. Two great football teams. They get things done in different ways, and that's what makes it interesting.
You talk about two great football teams, two outstanding coaches. Dave Gutshaw, last year the coach of this team of Burlington Cummings, which won the state championship. Bruce Harden has been here 4 times to a title game with 3 different schools. That's good coaching.
Oh, absolutely. I think we have 2 of the finest coaches in the state that are going up against each other. Coach Harden, you have to prove your mettle to bring 3 teams to the state finals, not just 1, but 3 different schools to the state finals. Been here 4 times. Coach Gutshaw, interesting, he's developed Cummings in an outstanding football power. Been there 7 years. They've gotten better and better. The interesting thing, he did it early on, developed the team running the wishbone and playing defense, but then he had a couple pretty good quarterbacks come the way. He was able to be flexible enough to go to a passing game, and he's come down here and for the 2nd year in a row.
Tom, I think we've got an exciting football game on tap, and we'll be back with the starting lineups after this brief timeout. This first half kickoff is brought to you by the Pepsi Bottlers of North Carolina. Kicking off for Burlington Cummings will be the freshman, Murray Smevin. He'll be kicking deep to number 32, Carl Lipscomb, and number 80, Reggie Wells. Just moments away now from the kickoff and the start of this 3A title game between Burlington Cummings and the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. The kickoff will be taken by Lipscomb and Brown at the 15 to the 20. He's out to the 25, and he's tripped up there on a good tackle, getting downfield. Tackle made right there by number 66, Eric Clark of the Cummings Cavaliers. Burlington Cummings, the defending state 3A champions, coming into this game with a 29-game winning streak. Kannapolis Brown, the champions of the South Piedmont Conference, coached by Bruce Harden. Harden bringing his 4th team to a state title game for Cummings. For Cummings, their defense lining up in the 4-3. Maurice Blakeney, the quarterback for the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown, off the unbalanced line. Carl Lipscomb trying to sweep to the left, and he is nailed back there. Gene Snell coming through to make that stop for Cummings, and a very impressive start, Tom Landsiddle.
Well, they just didn't get Snell blocked. They tried to sweep on the left side, and they had a lot of penetration over there, but you can see Snell had outside position on the left offensive tackle, and he came up with a big play here early. Great field position for Burlington. Kannapolis with their back up against the wall.
Loss of 6, 2nd and 16. Blakeney in trouble. He's being pursued hard. He does get the ball off downfield. And it's incomplete, intended for Mike Morton, his fine tight end. And you're going to hear that name of that fellow right there, number 82, Mike Morton. Not only is he a fine receiver and a tight end, but he is also one heck of a linebacker. 204 tackles on the season.
Well, this is a position that Cummings would like to get Kannapolis in. 3rd and long, 2nd long, because they're a grinded out ball control type offense, and they don't want 3, 4, 5 yards at a crack. So they'll probably Coach Gutschall now probably just play base zone defense and let them throw the ball.
3rd and 16 for Kannapolis Brown. The Wonders back at their own 19-yard line. Blakeney drops straight back. Now pressured out of the pocket. And he's going to try to turn it upfield, and he does, and he picks up about 6 yards, maybe 7. Gene Snell knocking him out of bounds. Gene Snell off to a very fine stride defensively here tonight.
Excellent coverage, Rich.
Pick up a 7. So that'll make it 3rd and their 4th and 9.
There's good pressure from Derek Evans, just a 10th grader, a big sophomore. Got good speed for a 235-pound youngster.
Maurice Blakeney, the punter for Brown, gets the kickoff, and it will not even be fielded, and will be down at the 49-yard line of Burlington Cummings. Cummings, a passing team, and Tom Lansettle, they're going to be starting from very, very good field position. Midfield, you can't ask for anything better than that, especially to open the ball game.
Well, the play on the kickoff, the play by Snell set the tempo here early for Burlington Cummings.
25-yard punt by Maurice Blakeney. Quarterback will be Donnie Davis. He owns virtually every passing record in the state of North Carolina, and he's only a junior, a converted wide receiver. Didn't even play quarterback full-time until this year, mainly because he was playing behind Chucky Burnett, who held all those records until Donnie Davis broke them. Davis is back to pass, as he will about 4 out of every 5 plays. Across field, and the ball is complete. Pass is complete across the way to Mandrell Reeves. Reeves really doesn't get a lot of yardage on it.
Well, he's just a freshman, he's 11th grader. It's 6 foot, 150 pounders. Got 46 receptions this year, 632 yards. He was an outlet. They had 3 receivers with Mandrell Reeves in the flat.
Reeves only picked up 1. 2nd down, 9. Sidelines are to the right. The wide field to the left. Donnie Davis, quick looking pass over there to Maurice Mebin, his tight end. And Mebin across the 45 and carries the defender down to the 43. Maurice Mebin, only a freshman. He has not even played 1 second of high school basketball, and already the major schools are coming after him.
Well, he's a great athlete. And he doesn't have a tremendous amount of receptions this year, 16, but 5 of them for TDs to show you his athletic ability. Doing a lot of checking on the line of scrimmage. You can see Donnie Davis looking the defense over. He called that quick pass on the last play. Now it's 3rd and 2.
Buddy Fowler is lone setback. Davis under some hot pursuit, but he gets rid of the football downfield, and it is caught. It is now incomplete. Incomplete. Intended for Lewis Penix. Now we're going to point this out. Lewis Penix is in the lineup tonight in place of the outstanding receiver, Jamie Harris. Jamie Harris was suspended from the Burlington Cummings Cavalier team on Thursday. That for breaking a team rule. It's 4th down now for Burlington Cummings.
They had good pressure on that last play, but something they're going to have to do. They had pressure on by number 88, Greg Jones. He's a senior. He's their designated pass rusher. Did a good job of containing. Also 65, Tony Jones, a very talented sophomore, was in there.
High snap to Gene Snell, but he will get it off. Snell aiming for the corner. Takes a good Burlington Cummings bounce, and he's going to like this punt. Down at about the 7-yard line, and Kannapolis Brown starting deep in the shadow of their own goal line. 9 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. No score between Burlington Cummings and Kannapolis Brown. We'll return with more after these messages from our local stations. This is the Telesport High School Network. Blakeney, the quarterback. Hand off straight up the middle, and a lot of running room right there. A lot of running room for Fred Carter. And Carter's got himself a 1st down, but more important, Tom, he's got Brown a little bit of room to work with now offensively.
Well, we've had a big defensive series from Kannapolis Brown, and yet still now the offense had to get field position back, and that was a good start right there. Even if they don't get a touchdown this drive, they can get a couple first downs and change the momentum of this game just by getting field position.
14-yard pickup up to the 22. Blakeney going over the weak side, but he's being flushed out of the pocket under tremendous pressure and just throwing the football away. In fact, there's an old line that a lot of coaches say that, throw it to the sidelines. If the man's open, you hit him. If not, you complete it to me. Let's go down to the field now for this McDonald's sideline update from Don Shea.
Tom and Rich, I'm here on the Burlington Cummings sidelines. They make no secret about their offensive game plan. They're going to play pass and catch. You saw in their first series, they put it up 3 times. The key is they've got to get good protection for their quarterback, Donnie Davis. He's thrown for 33 touchdown passes. As you can see, they're going to play air ball. Dave Gutschall, the coach, says we cannot run the ball. We got to air it out to win. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Don. Brown, 2nd and 10 from their own 22. Handoff straight ahead one more time to Fred Carter. Carter gets up across the 25-yard line to the 26. Picked up 4 on that. Will bring up a 3rd and 6 situation.
That was a nice play by Jeffers, and he's at middle linebacker, and very, very tough to block in the 4-3 because the two defensive tackles keep the guards off of him. It's difficult for the center to fire out and get to him. He makes a lot of tackles.
High formation for Kannapolis Brown. Carter and Lipscomb back there. And the flags go flying. Flag day down on the field. Obviously somebody jumped before the play started. And it'll go against Kannapolis Brown, illegal motion. We'll set them back 5 yards. We'll make it 3rd down and 11. 7 minutes, 57 seconds to go just in the first quarter of play here from Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. No score between the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers and the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown High School, the state 3A title game for North Carolina. Burlington Cummings, the defending state 3A champion. Lone setback now is Carter. Blakeney back to pass. Once again, scrambling, dumping the ball off over there to Carter, and he is kissed immediately, and it is Gene Snell making the stop for Burlington Cummings. Snell having an outstanding defensive game here in the early goings. A cold night in December in Chapel Hill, but Tom, I don't think this weather is having any effect whatsoever. Beautiful night for football.
We had good pressure here. This is the second time that I've seen Patrick Powell, probably their best defensive lineman, he's just a 10th grader, put pressure on the quarterback. Number 64, and then again, as you mentioned, the co-captain Gene Snell had good protection, or good coverage.
Blakeney back to kick again, and another short one. So Maurice Mevin just clears away. It does take a good roll that time for Kannapolis Brown, and dies at the 45-yard line of Burlington Cummings. 32-yard punt by Maurice Blakeney. And once again, Cummings, a passing team, gets to put the ball in play with good field position. Cummings, one of these football teams, Tom, very explosive. They can put you to sleep for 6-7 plays where nothing really happens, and then kaboom, they rip off some big yardage.
They got their best athletes a wide receiver. Of course, with Donnie Davis delivering the ball to him, it's not all, what they do with the pass, but after they catch it sometimes.
Buddy Fowler, the lone setback right there, and Burlington Cummings does not like to run the football a lot, and that is one reason right there. Dave Gutschall feels that it's a lot easier to teach young linemen how to pass block than it is to run block.
Well, a heck of a hit by Mike Morton, and also Patterson, number 66, Trevon Patterson. There's Morton getting the first hit. I guess he gets that tackle alone. Patterson was in there late, but Morton, an outstanding 204 tackles on the year. Number 82, Mike Morton.
Donnie Davis now faced with a 2nd and 14 situation back at his own 41. Drops back. He's under some pressure, and he goes down. Donnie Davis sacked right there, and Kannapolis Brown starting to move the football in the direction they want to move it, but they're doing it defensively. 2 good defensive plays for losses by Kannapolis Brown. Puts the ball all the way back to the 32-yard line. That is Trevon Patterson and Antoine Jordan.
Antoine Jordan is in there second, both he and Patterson together. Big hits.
Well, Dave Getzall said that he really kind of likes third and long situations as opposed to third and short. Well, he's got a third and long one now, Tom. 3rd and 23. Back at his own 31-yard line. He's in trouble, does a little bit of scrambling, dumps the ball off to Maurice Mevin. Now Mevin across the 40, back up to the 43-yard line, but it's going to be nowhere near close enough for a first down. They have to go down to the 45-yard line of Brown, so it's going to bring up a punting situation. Now Burlington Cummings only punts the ball about twice a game. Jamie Harris does the punting. He is out of the lineup, obviously on a suspension.
Again, the pressure on Davis. So far, Kannapolis Brown is winning the battle of the line of scrimmage, putting great pressure on Davis, but you can see how shifty he is. He breaks the tackle. He can still deliver the ball.
Gene Snell with his second punt of the game, and it's not really a good one, but it does take a pretty good bounce right there. Hit at the 40 of Brown and just rolled down to about the 35 where it was down. 22-yard punt.
Well, Snell's a backup punter. Harris is their normal punter.
Offensive line.
4:34 remaining in the first quarter. No score. We'll be back right after this. No score in the first quarter between Burlington Cummings and Kannapolis Brown, and for two teams whose offenses are kind of like the stars of the show, the defenses are stealing the thunder.
Both offenses having trouble getting untracked. We've had 4 possessions in the first 7.5 minutes. Rather unusual.
Maurice Blakeney, the quarterback for Kannapolis Brown, heading off to the first man through, and that is Fred Carter. Carter finds a little bit of running room, and depending upon where the knee goes down, that's where the ball is going to be marked. Carter gets the ball up to just about the 43-yard line. 7-yard pickup will make it 2nd and 3.
Well, part of the success of Brown this year is A.L. Brown is the development of Carter and Lipscomb, our 2 running backs, as the year went on. Neither one of them had any experience coming into the year, but they've both done a fine job. 2 hard runners.
Carter the fullback, Lipscomb the second man. Blakeney back to pass. He airs it out, and he's got a completion there on the sideline, and it is to Mike Morton. His tight end, Mike Morton, takes it down into Burlington Cummings territory. Pickup of 11 yards on that play, and for the first time this evening, Kannapolis Brown in Burlington Cummings territory.
Well, he fakes the counter draw there, and he has plenty of time this time, and he really put something on it to Morton, a perfect strike.
Mike Morton, 29 receptions on the year, 431 yards, 3 touchdowns, has 2 catches already tonight.
Also, he's a 4-point student, Richard, first in his class.
And being recruited by just about everybody, we might add, too. Every Atlantic Coast Conference school we know would definitely like to have him. Ball will be at the 47-yard line of Burlington Cummings. And we have a timeout being called by Kannapolis Brown. Official over there was conferring with Bruce Harden. Let's go down now to the field for this McDonald's sideline update, and we'll do that with Lane Harris.
The big green machines in town, the A.L. Brown Wonders are in town, and Coach Bruce Harden said one of the things he's going to have to do tonight is disguise his coverage to counteract Cummings' powerful pass offense. Also on offense, they're doing a lot of the same things that Cummings do. So they're spreading out the ball field. We're seeing Carter having a lot of success with the quick hitting plays up the middle. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Lane. 3 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Here at Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, no score between the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown and the defending state 3A champion Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. This is the state 3A title game for North Carolina.
Good shot on the sideline there of Maurice Blakeney, the junior quarterback. And his coaching staff, Coach Harden and the rest of the staff. He's an outstanding athlete, basketball, baseball player. He's had a little bit of a sore ankle, but he's 100% going in this game. Has 18 touchdown passes on the year. So 66 completions, but almost 1/3 of them for touchdowns.
But he has another statistic which is interesting, too. He's thrown for 16 interceptions. So a lot of things happen when Blakeney puts the football up, and tonight he's putting it up quite a bit, throwing a lot more than Bruce Harden normally does. Lone lone setback will be Fred Carter, sidelines to the right, wide side of the field to the left. Carter right up the middle. He's across the 45 and stacked up at about the 44 after a pickup of 3 yards.
Well, Coach Gutschall, and having a chance to talk to him earlier this week, he said what concerned him was not their passing game, but them controlling the ball on the ground, so he'd rather have them in passing situations. He has an excellent, talented secondary himself, but he's worried about the run.
Fred Carter leading the lineup of Kannapolis Brown, and Reggie Wells coming in as a wide out as we look at Dave Gutschall, the coach of the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Blakely inside handoff right there, going to Carl Lipscomb, and Lipscomb finds a little bit of running room, going down to possibly the 41-yard line.
A nice play by Snell, folding underneath from his end position to pick off that trap. Sometimes the hardest person to block on a trap play like the defensive end. And he folded underneath, make the play for about 2-3 yard gain.
Pickup of about 5 on that. Let's watch on the replay.
Well blocked, perfectly blocked. There he is, right there, number 42, trips him up.
He got shaken up right there. Actually, looked like Tyrone Matkins more or less fell on him and really kind of knocked the wind out of him. Probably was protecting the ball, and when that heavy weight of Matkins came on him, and Matkins is 245 pounds, the force of coming down just went and knocked the wind out of him, but he's okay. Pickup of 5. Ball will be at the 41-yard line, 3rd and 5. Blakeney, your quarterback. Ball just in the center of the playing field. Fred Carter back in as the lone setback for the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Blakeney drifting out to the left. He's in a little bit of trouble and actually tripped over his own blocker, Fred Carter, right there.
You talk about a gamer. I mean, my gosh, how many times have we mentioned Gene Snell's name? He's not very big, 5'10", 170, but he is a senior, and my gosh, watch him contain here. Just squeezes it inside, right there. There's no place for Blakeney to go.
4th and 10, and that'll bring up the 3rd punting situation of the evening for Kannapolis Brown. This will be the 5th punt of the ball game. Blakeney gets a good snap and basically pops up another short punt. Ball hits at about the 27 and doesn't even take a friendly bounce, goes down to about the 26, so that's where Burlington Cummings puts the ball in play after that 20-yard punt by Maurice Blakeney. But an interesting thing, Tom, Kannapolis Brown is still moving the ball downfield. They're just kind of doing it more through defense rather than offense.
Well, that's true.
Their starting point keeps getting farther and farther back.
We expect Cummings to be a little more explosive, but they are losing field position. But neither team has shown much consistency.
Donnie Davis, the quarterback. Buddy Fowler, the lone setback.
Obviously checking off the line of scrimmage.
Handoff straight ahead to Buddy Fowler. Has rushed for over 700 yards this year. Picks up about 3 hard-earned ones right there to the 29. Buddy Fowler on the year, 154 carries for 790 yards and 5 touchdowns. But Cummings does not live by the rush. Pick up a 3, 2nd down and 7. Ball about in the center of the playing field. One more time, Donnie Davis checking off. Davis looking for the quick pass, batted down at the line of scrimmage, and maybe that may have hit one of the officials. I don't know.
I thought perhaps Anton Jordan had his hand up, but you could be right.
Official lost a hat on that play, I know that. Not holding his head, doesn't have a headache, so maybe it didn't hit him. I don't know on that. Mike Morton was right around the football, though. 3rd and 7 now for Burlington Cummings. And for them, an obvious passing situation, as is almost any down, though. Not much wisdom in that thought, huh, Tom? Davis back to pass, the pump. Now he goes deep, going downfield for Lee Crawford, but it's going to be intercepted. Ball is intercepted downfield, and the man doing the picking off, Tim Atwell with the interception.
That's the 10th interception of the year. He just played the ball absolutely exceptionally. There was a pump fake by Davis, but he had plenty of cushion. Played the ball, played zone defense. Instead of playing the man, had his eye on the ball, caught at the highest point. 10th interception. He doesn't have great speed. He's not an exceptionally big young man, 156 pounds. But boy, what a great play.
Kannapolis Brown starting at the Wonders' own 43-yard line. Fred Carter, your ball carrier. He's across the 45. Maybe made it to the 47. And if he did, it'll be a pickup of 4 yards.
Again, that middle linebacker, Jeffers, in on that play. He's the leading tackler. Straight ahead dive play.
He got 4 yards on that carry, so it'll make it 2nd and 6. His time winding down in the first quarter of play. 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Murray's Blakeney, the quarterback. He's going to keep it, trying to skirt the left side. He gets across midfield and he goes out of bounds, and he will be close, Tom, to a first down, depending upon where he stepped out of bounds. And the chain gang very alertly getting out of the way.
Well, it was a good call by Brown. Not geared up for the option. This is not an option team, especially how that's set. Once he broke contain, once he broke the outside, there was no corner rolling up. There may have been man coverage, I'm not sure. But once he broke that initial containment, he had 6 or 7 easy yards.
Pick up a 5 for Blakeney, 3rd down and 1. Ball just shy of the 47-yard line of the Cummings Cavaliers. Lone setback is Carter. He gets the call. He gets the first down and carries a bunch of people across the 45.
So this is not the type. This type of situation there. It favors Kannapolis Brown and not Burlington Cummings. They don't want to get in a lot of short yardage situations as far as Cummings is concerned. The Cavaliers. Brown with their A.L. Brown with their ball control type offense likes those short yard situations. They'll pick them up most of the time.
Tom, that's the end of the first quarter of play here from Keenan Stadium at Chapel Hill, where the score is the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers 0, the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown 0. We'll be back with the second quarter of action after this brief timeout.
Here's 2 replays. One was outstanding play by the official. The umpire, it was the umpire caught him right in the cap, just like you mentioned. Rich, boom, right there, good shot. Doesn't happen very often, but it's hard to throw in. It helps your zone defense when you have that extra guy. But here's the outstanding defensive play by Tim Atwell. Also mentioned this young man's a student body president, so he does a lot of things well on and off the field.
Good tough umpire right there, too. Took a good shot with the football. Hasn't missed a beat out there on the field. So it's 1st and 10 for Kannapolis Brown as we start the second quarter. Nose of the football just past the 45-yard line of Burlington Cummings. Blakeney back to pass. He's got the time, and he drills one right down the middle. And a nice catch there by Darrell Allison. Darrell Allison at the 14-yard line of Cummings. And Tom Lancetta, we have our first scoring threat of the evening.
What a shot by Maurice Blakeney. I mean, this thing's a rope. Now he gets plenty of time, and that's the key for him. Be able to step and get something into it, but it's a perfect shot and an excellent catch by number 18, Darrell Allison.
30 yards on that play. Let's make it 1st and 10 for the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown at the 14. Driving down to the 10 is Freddie Carter. Carter's been a workhorse out of that backfield.
That time there at their eye set, I thought we'd see more of that. They just ran the fullback dive out of the eye.
Burlington Cummings in the playoffs has had to come from behind several times to advance this far. And they've had some trouble early on getting on track in the first quarter. They were less than impressive by Burlington Cummings standards. Kannapolis Brown threatening for the first score of the game. 2nd down and 6. Lipscomb finds some running room, and he's determined he gets down to about the 5-yard line. And if he does, it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 situation. And Tom, they always talk about football being a game of 3rd downs. It's a very important 3rd down situation because it can be the difference between 6 and 7 points or just 3.
Well, here's a blitz by Tyrone Jeffers right up the middle. Misses the tackle, but then a good crisp hit by Lewis Penix, number 4. But good game, 3rd and 1, like you mentioned.
Brown only 1 for 4 in 3rd down conversion so far this evening. Blakeney, the quarterback. Ball at the 5-yard line. He's got to get it down to the 4. Handoff straight ahead to Carter. Does he get it? He may have fallen to the first down territory, or we may have our first measurement of the evening. We have not gotten a signal as of yet. Good cheering section here from Kannapolis, rooting their wonders on.
Well, interesting short yardage formation by Coach Harden on that particular play. He had two wideouts split out each side just to spread the defense, and then ran Carter right up the middle. But just forced Cummings to cover the entire front to spread their defense, and then just hit with a quick hitter.
All right, Tom, how close is it going to be?
I don't think they got it.
You don't think they got it? And I think you're right. Oh, not by much. Yeah, sure. Good eyesight. So it's going to be 4th and inches, and I would say at this point, Bruce Harden says we're going for it. The way his defense is playing, too, at this point, and the way that end zone is slippery back there, it's going to really limit Cummings' option. So I would say let's go for it. That's what they're doing. Blakeney, the quarterback. Does he sneak it? Does he give it to Fred Carter? He sneaks it. And I think he's got it. Yes, he does.
Got a little help from Carter.
He got a little help from Carter, and we might add that that's illegal.
That is. Very, very rarely called. But there was good surge by the Cummings defense that time. They got underneath the pads. It looked like he may have been stopped initially, but finally he won out with good leg drive by the offensive line and a little help from his friend.
Well, as Freddie Carter says, Mr. Referee, I'm just carrying out my fake on that play. I just happened to run into him. Okay, we have got a 1st and goal. Ball just past the 4-yard line, about at the 3.5. Blakeney, quarterback. Carter, lone setback. Long pass in the end zone for Darrell Allison. Broken up beautifully by the freshman, Maurice Mevin. Bruce Harden says we're going to test that freshman out, but that young man is passing every test that somebody throws at him.
This is what's called a fade route. The man coverage, Mevin has to take the inside route away, so you try to pin him inside, and the pass is intended to beat him wide, not necessarily beat him deep, but beat him wide. But excellent coverage by Mevin, and I don't think the receiver quite set it up. He wants to force it upfield first, then break it wide.
Excellent camera work by the Telesport ground camera there. Blakeney 3 for 6 tonight, passing for 43 yards. He's got a 2nd and goal from about the 3.5. Split backfield this time. Lipscomb and Carter. Hands off straight ahead that time to Carter. And he is stopped cold at the line of scrimmage.
I believe that was Patrick Powell on the initial hit.
That's exactly who it was, number 64.
There's a good shot of Powell pitching it from his right there. Ooh. Great coverage. Patrick Powell on the initial tackle.
Looks like he's doing a little calf movement right there, too. Going, you're not going anywhere. Come back here. Come on. 3rd and goal from the 3.5-yard line. High formation this time. Blakeney looking for the pass, going into the end zone, overthrowing Mike Morton. Not a bad decision there to go into that slippery stuff, too, because it is really tough for the defensive back. Blakeney just overshot his target, who was open, and that will bring on the field goal team. Ben Johnson.
We've talked about Snell, but I'll tell you, Patrick Powell's played himself a whale of a ball game. You'll see him right there, boom. Gives Blakeney a heck of a shot right as he releases the ball.
Ben Johnson, 4 for 4 this year in field goal attempts. He's going to try to make it 5 for 5, and I can tell you this is the most important field goal of his young career. At this point, the kick is up, and the kick is through the heart, and it's good, and the Kannapolis Brown Wonders, with 9:02 to go in the first half, have gotten on the scoreboard first. Kannapolis Brown 3, the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers nothing. We'll return with more after these messages from our local stations. This is the Telesport High School Network.
Look at the effort, the number 7 here, Maurice Mevin, trying to block his field goal. Just a freshman. Terrific athletic move. Hurdles a pile. Incredible effort. Almost gets it.
He's a very good basketball player, and as we pointed out, hasn't played a second of high school basketball. He's only a freshman, and already he's being recruited by the major colleges. They saw him play on a North Carolina AAU team this summer, team dominated by seniors, and he made it as a freshman. Here we go. Look who it is. It's our friend Maurice Mevin, is it? Yes, it is. He's across the 25. Where did the knee go down? It went down at the 27, so that's where Cummings will be putting the ball in play. Air Cummings, as they refer to this offense. Kannapolis Brown scoring 9 plays, 53 yards. Johnson's 21-yard field goal does it. Ben Johnson.
And it was a big play in that drive was the pass from Blakeney to Darrell Allison. Covered about 40 yards.
And for the first time all night, he had time to throw on that. And he really showed that he has got a nice arm, strong arm. As does this fellow, Donnie Davis, number 10, quarterback of the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers, has thrown for almost 3,700 yards coming into this game, a state record, and he is going to be sacked for the second time this evening, and coming in to make that stick for Kannapolis Brown, Tony Jones. Tony Jones with the sack, and he was helped there by Greg Jones.
Well, that's his 6th quarterback sack of the year. Tony Jones, a sophomore.
Donnie Davis,
a real talented young athlete. Watch him beat the block to the inside. He stays with it. Right there. Swings him around out of bounds.
Donnie Davis got to beat the Jones boys on that one. 2nd and 21, loss of 11 on that sack. Ball at the 16-yard line of the Cummings Cavaliers. Cummings has not been moving the football as Cummings is used to doing. There's the screen pass going to Buddy Fowler, 15, 20, 25. Lester Mortimer puts down the shoulder and gets up to close to the 29-yard line, pickup of 12 yards.
That to me is a great call. I think when a passing offense, to get a passing offense going, sometimes, run a little quick screen, easy path, one that you can complete to get kind of uncranked. Here's another look at it. Well executed screen. I love that call when you're having a little trouble getting untracked.
Well, Dave Gutschall said before the game, we will throw to anybody that's eligible. In fact, we'd like to go to the association and make tackles eligible all the time in the future. They love to throw the football. 3rd down and 9 for the Cummings Cavaliers. Ball at their own 29. Donnie Davis back to pass. Ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. And very close to that ball was Tony Jones.
Also, Travon Patterson had the pressure and had the knockdown.
Let's go to a McDonald's sideline update with Don Shea.
Well, as we noted just a few moments ago, quarterback protection is the key as far as Burlington Cummings is getting. As you see, they're up against one of the better front lines defensively against Kannapolis Brown, who's putting some heat on Davis. Coach Gutschall is telling his offensive guys, his receivers, to sprint those routes. Get out there. We'll see what happens. Back to you guys.
Well, obviously, there was a whistle before the snap there, as Gene Snell made no effort whatsoever to get that ball.
Well, it's a good break. Not too sure what the call is. I don't see a flag, but certainly it gives you a second chance here.
Tom, we have 7 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the first half here. Burlington Cummings, a very potent offensive team, has had the ball 4 times. They've had to punt it away 3 times. They only average 2 punts a game. This will be their 3rd punt. They lost 1 on an interception.
Well, they're having trouble getting on track, but their defense has played very well. And also, early in the game, they had good field position. So the combination of those things makes this a very close ball game at this point.
Here's Snell's punt, and it's not going to be a long one. It's high. It hits at about the 44-yard line and just virtually dies right there.
This is a big series for Kannapolis to try to take control of this game, and a big series for Cummings' defense.
Only a 9-yard punt right there. Check that, a 15-yard punt by Gene Snell. And again, the fellow who normally does the punting is Jamie Harris, suspended from this team for breaking a team rule. Kannapolis Brown putting the ball in play. Good field position, the 44-yard line of Burlington Cummings. Sidelines are to the left. Wide side of the field to the right. The split backfield. Handoff to Fred Carter. Carter threading his way down to the 40-yard line, picking up 4.
That's an old-fashioned dive play. Just split backs, and that's it. Always felt like the shortest distance from a halfback position on the line of scrimmage was a straight line. Just one-on-one blocking it in there and pick a hole, run off the tackle's block.
2nd and 6 for Kannapolis Brown at the 40-yard line of Cummings. High backfield. Lipscomb the up back, tailback. No, that's Carter is the up back. And he is stacked up kaboom right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play. We'll make it 3rd and 6.
Another fine play by Snell from his defensive end position, squeezing down on that fullback dive.
6 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the first half. Remember, in high school football, they only play 12-minute quarters. Carter has been held for no gain in his last 3 carries. 10 carries tonight, 440 yards. High formation. Blakeney, your quarterback. 3rd down and 6. Blakeney, back flag in the backfield. Blakeney going to air it out, and he overthrows Mike Morton. And the ball ends up in the place-kicking practice net over there. Usually where that flag was thrown.
It was awful quick to be holding. I think some type of illegal procedure.
Yeah, legal procedure was the initial call. Legal procedure will be 5 yards against Brown, and it will be declined by Cummings, and that will bring up a 4th down situation.
Cummings' defense answered the call. I think he's a real critical series this because the things are, Kannapolis seemingly seems to be in control, but it's just 3-0 in this ball game, and as explosive as Cummings is on offense, Kannapolis has to feel a little bit nervous about the way things are going early.
Blakeney back, and for him, this will be his 4th punt of the evening. He hasn't enjoyed a lot of success punting either. 5:57 to go in the first half. Kannapolis Brown leading Cummings 3-0. Nice punt that time by Blakeney. And Lee Crawford says, I'm just going to let this one hit. It hits and it dies, but it dies in nice field position for Kannapolis Brown at the 12-yard line. We've got 5 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the first half of play from Kenan Stadium. Kannapolis Brown leads Burlington Cummings 3-0. Burlington Cummings averages over 31 points a game, but tonight the defense of the Kannapolis Brown Wonders has shut them down to this point with 5 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the first half. Kannapolis Brown leading Burlington Cummings 3-0. Cummings, though, a 4th quarter football team. Donnie Davis, quick pass is completed to the outside and knocked out of bounds.
Pass was to Reeves.
Pass complete to
Mandriel Reeves. Pickup of 6 on that.
This is his first year in football.
Good second down and 4 for Cummings. Ball at the right hash mark. Wide side of the field is to the left. Buddy Fowler, the lone setback. Donnie Davis back to pass. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket, goes right up the middle, has the first down to the 30, still on his feet, 35, good athlete, gets himself up to the 39-yard line. Donnie Davis with some good scrambling right there. Saw that opening up the middle, he took it.
Well, he's got protection. He saw the opening and good protection by the offensive line. They forced the defensive line wide. Stepped up into the pocket, and this is the first big play for Cummings, I believe, tonight.
Not yet,
it really is. 21-yard pickup. Cummings' first down. Isn't that incredible? Who would ever thought that? With 5:14 to go in the first half, a high-powered offense of the Cavaliers of Burlington Cummings just recording their first down of the evening. Donnie Davis dumps the ball over to Buddy Fowler. Fowler up the midfield, gets across midfield, and was he hit? Was he hit right there? Carl Lipscomb making one of the great contacts right there, along with Roland Grant. Whoa! But Buddy Fowler held on to the football.
Well, Fowler's the 5th receiver. You have 4 receivers out wide. He's the fullback, just running a check release right up the middle. The nice thing I like about Davis, he throws such a nice, soft, catchable pass. It's not like he's drilling it in there. It wasn't a perfect pass, but it gave Fowler a chance to turn on it and make a catch and put it away.
And this is Davis's first year really as a quarterback. As a wide receiver, gets it to Mandriel Reeves. Mandriel Reeves, he squirms his way to about the 41-yard line. That was determination on the part of Mandriel Reeves. And you can see he's had a big season with all those stars on his helmets. And his helmet there awarded for big plays and for touchdowns. He has 4 touchdowns, 46 catches.
That offensive line for Cummings, Bobby Moffitt, the center, Don Liggins, Anthony Mabane, the guards, and Jeff Felshaw and Tony Woods, the tackles, have done a pretty good job here protecting on this series.
Second down and a long 3. A little bit of movement on the line. Somebody jumped off sides. One of the Jones boys at Brown.
I believe so.
That was Tony Jones. The question, was he drawn off sides? And for the position he came in, I would say not. The officials agree with that. And it'll be 3 yards for the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. And now they have a drive going. They're down to the 36-yard line of Brown. Burlington Cummings, a very explosive football team.
This is their first threat in this football game.
Kannapolis Brown wanting a timeout, and they've got it. Remaining in the first half of play, and the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers, Tom Lancetto, with their first serious drive of the evening. They've been stymied on their 4 previous possessions. First and 10. Ball at the 36-yard line of Kannapolis Brown. Donnie Davis to his lone setback. Buddy Fowler, and Fowler finds some running room. Gets across the 30 down to the 29, which would be a pickup of 7 yards. Buddy Fowler, while a lot of people really kind of knocked the Burlington Cummings ground game, has rushed for close to 800 yards this season.
Well, he's a wrestler, just a tough kid, good bread and butter runner. And one thing about that offense, it spreads people out, and you have that element of surprise on the running game.
Let's make it 2nd and 3 for the Cavaliers. Ball at the 29-yard line of Kannapolis Brown. Donnie Davis, quick pass over to Mandriel Reeves. He cannot hold it at the 25. Incomplete.
For Mandriel Reeves.
Guarded closely on the play by Gary Elder.
Good play by Elder, the short halfback, the senior.
3rd and 3.
Tough kid. Coach mentioned he comes to play every practice like he was a freshman.
Let's go down for a McDonald's sideline report from Lane Harris.
Coming into the game, it looked to be an offensive struggle between Cummings and Brown, but now it's turned into a defensive struggle. Watch the defensive secondary of Kannapolis. They're really switching the coverages and causing a lot of problems for Donnie Davis, who's been pretty well contained in the first half.
3rd down and 3 as Davis drops straight back, setting up the screen pass, gets it to Buddy Fowler. Fowler has some running room, has the first down to the 20, down to the 19, Russell and Bulldog at the 18.
Heck of a block here, Rich, by number 70, Jeff Felshaw, 10th grader.
Donnie Davis now starting to heat up. He's completed 5 of his last 6 passes.
Here's a good shot. Number 70 brushes his man off. He's out in the left flat to lead Fowler. We just missed the block, and there it is, right there. You can see him finishing it. Just 5'7", 165, a 10th grader.
Kyle Woodham with a nice tackle right there, too. Davis now, 8 for 12, 1 interception for 68 yards on the evening. Has a first down for the Cavaliers of Burlington Cummings. Ball at the 18. Davis rolling, dropping. Ball is dropped by Lee Crawford, and you won't see that happen very often. Lee Crawford, a good all-around football player with 20 total touchdowns for Cummings this year, 64 catches.
Well, there's a classic example of having an easy one, but like we mentioned earlier, you turn those shoulders and try to get upfield. Shifts your hands a little bit, you drop the easy one, but he's a fine player, and he'll make some catches tonight.
2nd and 10 for Cummings. Sidelines are to the left, wide side of the field is to the right. Double slot, lone setback, Buddy Fowler in motion. Lee Crawford, you see him coming into your picture and going out of your picture. Donnie Davis back to pass. He's being pressured now. Davis looking, dropping. He's going to tuck the ball under, and then he just goes out of bounds. Wise decision right there.
A good pressure by number 76, Travon Patterson, and also 32 was in on that was pressuring there. That's 32 for Carl Lipscomb.
He came in from a linebacker position, loss of 6 on that play.
You see him coming up there.
3rd and 16 for the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers, defending state 3A champions, winner of 29 straight, 14 of them this year, in what really many thought would be a rebuilding year.
Big play.
Sidelines to the right, wide side of the field to the left this time. Davis dropping straight back. He has some time this time. You give him time and you're in trouble. Oh, that ball went through everybody's hands right there. It was intended for Penix. But the ball also
Well, that was Reggie Wells.
Yeah, Reggie Wells, who's a receiver, too. He always does some time as a receiver, too, on the offense.
Well, he let him behind him, but that's good play down the goal line because you don't have that much room. You have it back in the end zone on your side. He almost misjudges it, though.
I would venture to say Cummings is going to go for it. Here's another shot, Tom, from the end zone camera.
See what Davis sees.
Wells reading the play very nicely, too. Nice reaction by Wells. Jumps up. Ball a little bit too high for him, and cutting across Lewis Penix. He goes, I guess it actually hit Penix's hands there.
Well, that's Reggie Wells.
Reggie Wells,
co-captain.
Very happy with that play there, too. Now, Cummings does not have a great kicking game. So Dave Gutschall has indicated that in situations like this, when they're where they are, the fact that they're at the 24-yard line, the fact that their offense is so explosive, who cares whether it's 4th and 16, they're going to go for it.
Well, percentages, whatever they, in this particular position, are not necessarily in their favor. Nobody wants to be 4th and 16. But again, with that type of passing game, he's going to have to bring the ball downfield, but they still have the tools to do it. Good coverage. We've had good coverage all day by the Kannapolis secondary.
Well, here it is, 4th and 16 for Cummings. And they have turned a lot of these situations not only in the first downs, but in touchdowns this year. Donnie Davis with a long count. Oh, he got some free yardage, which is what he was trying to work on there. And as long as nobody in that interior line moved or the center didn't move the football, he's going to get 5 free ones out of it. And as long as nobody in that interior line moved or the center didn't move the football, he's going to get 5 free ones out of it.
That's a big play. A lot of, in a passing game, your intermediate zone, there's a lot of, 10 to 12-yard routes, whether it be an out or a quick curl, what have you. When you're 4th and 15, 4th and 16, that 5 yards really has an impact.
Well, now instead of facing a 4th and 16, he's got a 4th and 11. Let's see if he tries to go with a long staggered count again, or whether he just gets in and out of there. Tries to find somebody wide open. He's calling another play, possibly checking off at the line of scrimmage. Davis back to pass. He's got some time, drifting to the left. Boy, he launches a nice pass. He's got Mevin in the end zone. Was he in bounds? No, he was out of bounds. But what a catch and what concentration. He was out of bounds. And I'm sure we're going to see a replay from the Telesport crew on that one. Mevin not happy, but what a catch, what concentration. He was in some real slick territory over there.
What an athlete. Too deep, we're seeing a lot of too deep coverage, too deep zone, where we have 2 safeties by Kannapolis. And that time they beat the corner and the safety didn't get over to make the play. It's not hard to get behind the corners in too deep coverage. The safety's nowhere in sight. He's tied up in the middle. I think he's out. No, he dropped the ball.
Oh, he did drop the ball, too. Looked like he had it from our angle up here. So Brown takes over, and Carl Lipscomb has the football, finds a little bit of running, and turns the corner, and good effort there by Carl Lipscomb. Pick up of 12 yards, and he's got a first down.
Little tailback counter by Carl Lipscomb. We've seen him fake it and throw the ball off that same action several times this game.
The Brown backfield, not really big. Lipscomb just 155 pounds, 5'8". Freddie Carter, 5'9", 190. Bruce Harden has to be happy. Both of them are juniors. They'll be back. They're in the I formation. Blakeney is quarterback. Gives it to Fred Carter. Carter with a good effort gets up to the 36. Blakeney also a junior. But the one thing with Kannapolis Brown, everybody up front, the interior linemen and the 2 wideouts, are all seniors. A lot of experience there. Pick up a 5, 2nd and 5. Ball at the 36-yard line of the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Sidelines to the right. Strong side of the field to the left. Carter again getting the call. A little bit squirming and picked himself up a pair of yards up to the 38.
That was Wade. Stovell Wade on the hit. 11th grader. We're going to see on the replay. Interesting fake. It's kind of a counter option type fake. Starts one way, comes back the other way by Lipscomb. That's good camera work of the backfield action.
3rd and 3 for Brown. And Lipscomb has got the first down. Only be the second third down conversion of the evening for Kannapolis Brown, but they took a good time to do it, getting themselves up close to midfield. Actually across midfield, down to the 48-yard line of Burlington Cummings.
Donnie Davis going double duty here, playing almost every snap. I wonder if he'll take his toll as far as him being tired from his quarterback spot, but watch him make a real nice tackle here. That's the second tackle he's made on this series.
And the reason he's playing double duty, the suspension of Jamie Harris. Blakeney dropping straight back to pass. That's a 1st and 10 situation. Airs it out, airs it deep, and this ball is going to be picked off. Donnie Davis, we just talked about him. Donnie Davis with the interception. 40 seconds remaining in the first half of play. And under a normal situation with a high school team back here, you would see the team possibly just run out the clock. I don't think we'll see that, Tom, with Burlington Cummings. An explosive team, 40 seconds to them in the arm of Donnie Davis.
I think the good play by Davis of playing the ball. We saw Atwell early just in zone defense, eyes on the quarterback, judging the ball, catching it at the highest point. Donnie Davis returned the favor on that play. Good defensive series by Davis.
Let's see if Cummings tries to use that clock. It is running now, down to 28 seconds.
I think they'll run it out. Nope, you were right.
He's back. He's going to throw it across the middle, and he's got a completion there, and it looks like it is completed to Lee Crawford, which it is. Lee Crawford to the 37-yard line. Cummings, let's see if the Cavaliers will use a timeout in this situation. Pickup of 19 yards. Lee Crawford with a reception. Crawford, just a junior, 5'11", 170 pounds, and Burlington Cummings taking that timeout. 17 seconds remaining in the first half of play from Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, the North Carolina 3A title game. Kannapolis Brown leading Burlington Cummings 3-0. Cummings, the defending state 3A champion. Winners of 29 straight, 14-0 this year. Kannapolis Brown coming in with a 13-1 record. And to show you what this team's made of, Bruce Harden's in his first year. He was in a title game last year, which you and Jack Gregory called over at Grove Stadium before a title game between Richmond County and West Charlotte. Bruce Harden moves to Kannapolis Brown. He's in another title game. He's been in 4 title games in his career. And to show you what he and his players are made out of, they lost their second game of the year to Statesville, something like 29-13. It was Labor Day weekend. They decided they were going to practice on Labor Day weekend. Nobody took a vacation.
Well, football's very important to Kannapolis, North Carolina. They've had great programs down and some great players come out of there. Johnny Evans, Ethan Horton, James Lott down at Clemson. Tremendous amount of athletes and a lot of wins in the Kannapolis program.
1st and 10 for the Cavalier of Burlington Cummings. Donnie Davis, the quarterback. Crawford in motion. Davis back, putting the ball up, and he's going down for, there's the old flea flicker play. Lee Crawford fumbled the football. Mandriel Reeves caught it, flipped it over, and it was kind of an errant flip right there to Lee Crawford. Little good razzmatazz, but coming up with the football is Carl Lipscomb. And that big crowd from Kannapolis Brown. Big crowd up from Kannapolis liking what they see.
Well, I like this call. I love this call. I mean, this is going for all the marbles. A little bit too much cushion. I don't think he would have had the sidelines even with a good pitch. It looked like that was Gary Elder was in excellent position. One of the halfbacks, the Kannapolis team, to make the play, but still, I like the call, and it could have worked. Got the call.
Well, the intent was there, and the ball was completed at the 41-yard line of Kannapolis Brown, and let's say they wing it over there to Crawford. He doesn't have a clear field in front of him. He just steps right out of bounds. We've got 9 seconds on the clock here for Burlington Cummings, and the way Donnie Davis throws the football, we're not talking about a lot of distance, really.
Well, we've talked about Davis going both ways. We've been in a lot of action this half. Lipscomb on that fumble recovery is also, let's give him his due. He's certainly played an excellent first half and have been on that field a number of plays.
I think if you asked any of those kids down there, too, they'd say, hey, that's tough going both ways. They're going to say, heck, this is a title game. I got 9 months to get better. We don't start practice again until the 1st of August, although I'll tell you, the successful teams are going to be hitting that weight room. After about a week's vacation, they'll be back in the weight room working hard for next season.
Or out for a winter sport. When I coached, I always in high school, I liked the kids playing a lot of sports because I think they learn a tremendous amount, not just the weight room, but competing in other situations.
Let's see what Maurice Blakeney does here, whether he just basically falls on it or he's got a strong arm. You give him a little bit of time, he can throw you a rope, as Tom talked about a little bit earlier. Well, let's see, what have we got here? Whistle, so the play will not officially start. And we're going to have a delay of game.
Flag down.
Both teams going for broke. You got a pass play called.
After all, Tom, it is the title game, right? And 3 points may not be enough to beat Burlington Cummings.
5-yard penalty.
Burlington Cummings, a good second-half football team, and they are going to be tested very severely tonight by the wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Brown's defense playing superb tonight. Brown called for 4 penalties tonight. Straight handoff up ahead to Carl Lipscomb. And that will wind out the first half of play here at Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. The wonders of Kannapolis Brown leading the defending state 3A champions in this championship game, the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Brown 3, Cummings nothing. Tom, I think it's a real tribute to the fans here. We've shown a lot of shots of the crowd here, and there's a tremendous crowd up from the town of Kannapolis. The driving conditions are still, I won't say treacherous, but there are some spots where it can be rather hairy on the road. I mean, you came in from Raleigh, I came in from Greensboro, and I was on an interstate today, and there were several spots on the interstate where you just kind of hold your breath and try to get through.
Well, I think we've had probably today 25,000 people in both games, and when you think that there's been absolutely no walk-in crowd. I mean, it's supporters from both schools because nobody knew of the suspended game or what time it was going to be played. That's tremendous.
Okay, let's go down on the field for a McDonald's sideline update with Lane Harris.
Here with head coach Bruce Harding of the Wonders. Coach, your defense did a great job in the first half.
They're doing a good job, and they gave us good field position offensively, but we let a couple of opportunities slip by. So hopefully they'll continue to do that, and we can take advantage of it. I think we moved the football on them. We just we've got to continue to take advantage of their mistakes and not give up that field position.
Secondary's playing real tough too.
They're really doing well. They're stemming, and that's something that Cummings hasn't faced this year. And we're kind of moving people around, and it's giving Davis trouble reading, and we're getting good pressure on him right now.
You're getting good pressure, keeping him out of the pocket. What are you going to do offensively? Are you going to make any changes?
Well, we're going to try to make some adjustments and continue to establish field position and pound them and try to keep them off balance as much as we can.
Okay, Coach. Good luck. Thanks. Second half. Coach Bruce Harden, still a coach at Olympic High School in Charlotte. Also, West Charlotte took West Charlotte to the 4A finals last year and lost to this year's state champion, Richland County. He's a good man. Coach Bruce Harden.
Thank you, Lane Harrison. Definitely so with Bruce Harden, one of the finest high school football coaches, maybe not in the state of North Carolina, but also in this region, Tom Lancetto. The man is a winner wherever he goes, and that's the test of a good coach. Halftime in the 1989 North Carolina 3A championship football game. Kannapolis Brown leading Burlington Cummings 3-0. Let's take a look at some of the big plays in the first half. A half basically dominated by the defense, but this is the play that really set up the first score and the only score, Tom Lancel.
Well, this from Maurice Blakeney to Darrell Allison, and as you mentioned, it set up the field goal, which we're going to see here in a second. But he had the time by the protection from the Kannapolis offensive line. Nice catch by Allison. He cradles it in, took him down to about the 10-yard line, and they convert the field goal here shortly.
Yeah, you also talk about time, too. Donnie Davis was not getting the time that he normally gets, but on this play he was able to find one of his standout wide receivers, Lee Crawford.
Well, Crawford does a nice job of coming back for the ball. Good fundamentals for a receiver to come back, catch the ball, cradle it in, turn upfield.
And here's our only score of the first half, a 21-yard field goal from Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson 5 for 5 in field goals this year. Capped a 9-play, 53-yard drive. And that is it for the scoring. Kannapolis Brown leading Burlington Cummings by a 3-0 score. And the first half statistics really reflect good defensive play.
Dominated by the defense. A little bit of surprise as far as I'm concerned. First thing I look at, I see 79 yards rushing by A.L. Brown. Coach Gutschall, I think, has to be pleased with their defense and their ability to keep Brown from controlling the ball, especially on the ground. On the other hand, 4 first downs for Cummings. We've seen excellent secondary play by the Kannapolis team. They have been able to contain Davis's passing game, even though he was 17 for 20. Not much there other than the third down conversion. Neither team able to sustain much of a drive. I think Cummings had one drive where they had a threat and it was stopped on a 4th down, and A.L. Brown had the one drive, which was a field goal. But outside of that, neither team able to sustain much of a drive.
The second half kickoff is brought to you by the Pepsi-Cola Bottlers. And we're getting ready for the second half of play. And there's no question about it. Burlington Cummings, Tom, is missing Jamie Harris, who was suspended for breaking a team rule. What does Cummings lose without Jamie Harris? Well, they lose a player who caught 76 passes for 1,341 yards, 15 touchdowns, 17 and a half yards a catch. They lose a punter. They lose a pass defender.
Well, I think it's, that may be a big loss, but in all honesty, in a big game like this, other kids are going to come to occasion. I've always felt like that you can take a super player, you can lose him for one game here or one game there. It's just when you lose 1, 2, or 3 for the season and it has an impact and somebody else gets hurt. I think Coach Gutschall mentioned before the game, he didn't really feel it had that much of an impact unless a couple other kids went down, because it just hurts from a depth standpoint. But I don't think it's had any impact on this game. Maybe the punting game early, but it hasn't really hurt Cummings.
One player Cummings could not afford to lose, though, is quarterback Donnie Davis.
He's an impact player, no question about that. In terms of they don't have that much of a ground game, and they depend on his passing.
Mandrell Reeves and Lee Crawford back deep for the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers.
I like what Blakeney's done. I think he's shown a lot of a good, strong arm.
Ben Johnson kicking off. Kick is short, and it's going to be taken at the 20-yard line.
Nice play.
And that ball was fielded.
Big play there
By Brad Vincent. Took that one short, and he was stuck pretty good at the 26-yard line.
That was number 46 for A.L. Brown. I don't see his number on our roster, Rich. Whatever, it was a heck of a play. Big play to start the second half for the Kannapolis Brown. Looked like he had some yardage, and he broke through there, made a fine play.
Cummings starting with the football, trailing 3-0 to the wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Sidelines are to the left, strong side of the field to the right. Buddy Fowler, your lone setback. Donnie Davis, the quarterback, quick one over the middle to Lewis Penix, and Penix has it at the 31-yard line, maybe the 32, depending upon where forward progress was ruled at the point of impact. They're going to say the 32-yard line.
Great play that time by safety or halfback Gary Eldon. Part of Burlington's passing game is getting the receivers do something after they catch the ball. And that time Elder reacted to the ball, came up and made the hit. They're doing a lot of shifting in the secondary, a lot of too deep look. That's with 2 safeties, and they're covering the zones underneath with 5 defensive players. Sometimes man, sometimes zone underneath. Now they're in man.
Davis was in trouble, and wow, he threw it back into a lot of traffic there, intended for Lee Crawford at the 45-yard line. And a real good breakup there by Roland Grant with a breakup.
That was number 89, the strong safety Roland Grant had his man-to-man as he came across the middle. He stayed with him, then reacted to the ball.
The fact that Burlington Cummings does not really have a running game cooking in this ball game, Tom, if it continues like this later on in the game, could really have an impact later on. 3rd and 5.
They're shifting to a 2-deep look again. I think they're in man coverage.
Mandrell Reeves, the man in motion. Donnie Davis, straight back. Looked like he wants to turn it upfield. He does, and will he get away with it? Well, let's see. He got up to about the 37-yard line.
I don't believe he has it. He may be about a foot or so short.
You know, I'm not going to argue with you. When you called that one down at the goal line and you said, I think he missed it just by about an inch or two, and sure enough, that's what he did it. Well, so I'm not going to argue with you, but here's a replay.
Well, Donnie Davis is going to get yards. Talking to Coach Harden, he knew that, but he just wanted to make sure they didn't miss a lot of tackles. And they may at that time just made the tackle in time to keep him short of the first down.
All right, let's see where the measurement goes on this.
Well, I'm 1 for 1, Rich.
Yeah, but it was only by half of football. Yeah,
one right, one wrong.
One and one, or 1 for 2. All right. You only missed it by half of football. Still pretty good eyesight, though. Dave Gutschall looking on and going, there's a decision I don't have to make. Although I would venture to say probably would have punted it away if he didn't have it.
I think he would have. That makes that big play for them to start the second half. Big play.
Cummings did not get its first down of the first half until 5:14 remained. So it's nice that they come out for them at this point. First possession, cracking out a couple of first downs downfield is Donnie Davis, and that ball is intercepted by Reggie Wells. Reggie Wells at the 25. He's to the 30, 35. Reggie Wells, and whoa, is he horse-collared down by Maurice Mevin, but there's going to be a face masking on that, so you tack on 15 more yards. And that return is going to go from the 25.
Again, it's hard to go deep in the middle with those two safeties. Reggie Wells played that extremely well. From a zone safety position, he read the ball, made an outstanding interception.
Made a 14-yard return, and now you tack on 15 yards for the face masking. It's going to be a 29-yard return, and that should get the football into Burlington Cummings territory, which it will do indeed to the 46-yard line. I'm not trying to call the plays for Dave Gutschall up here, but I think he's got to start really going to Buddy Fowler just a little bit more, swing passes, check passes, something like that, and that might start loosening things up. He's had success with that in the first half.
Well, he has to get, we'll go back to that in a minute. Here's Kannapolis on offense.
Blakeney handoff straight ahead to Fred Carter. Carter's been the workhorse of the Kannapolis Brown offense as far as the running game is concerned. Best starting position, by the way, for Brown in this football game of any drive, the 46-yard line of Burlington Cummings. Pickup of 4 down to the 42-yard line, make it 2nd and 6.
What Coach Harden would like to see is Joe Willis, David Nichols, Chad Blackwelder, Rick Stone, and Charles Gray, those offensive linemen, take control of this football game.
Fred Carter, 13 carries, 51 yards for Kannapolis Brown. High formation backfield. Second man through that time. Should be Lipscomb, and he gets to the 40. Pickup of 2. Third quarter action here from Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the third period. Michael Barnes was your ball carrier. Third down, 4 to go for the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Ball just across the 40-yard line of the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Blakeney's going to keep it himself. Doesn't get a lot of running room. He's going to try to turn the corner, but he's not going to get the first down.
Nice one-on-one tackle. That was Lee Crawford.
Lee Crawford, one of those players of Cummings, being called upon to do double duty, but that's typical for him. He plays both ways.
Again, after a quick turnaround on the interception and the penalty, here's the option by Blakeney. Here comes Crawford out of the secondary from a safety position, a quarterback position. One-on-one tackle. Excellent play.
And the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown will be punting, standing at midfield. Blakeney, he gets off the kick. High, will hit. at the 19 and takes a friendly roll of about 5 yards down to about the 14-yard line. And we've got a stoppage in play. With 8 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play, the score, the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown 3, the Cavaliers of Burlington Cummings nothing. We'll return with more after these messages from our local stations. You're watching the Telesport High School Network. See the score with 8 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And now the clock running. Kannapolis Brown leading Burlington Cummings 3-0. A surprisingly low-scoring football game between two strong offenses, but their defenses have been the stars of the game. Donnie Davis back to pass, wants to turn it right upfield. Did dodge one tackler. Gets up to about the 24.
Anton Jordan was disappointed he missed the tackle, but he did beat his block and flattened Davis out and let the rest of the team converge on him.
Looked like that was really a design play, too, by Davis, just to go back and go sprinting up the middle, but Anton Jordan ruined that.
It was a draw play. It was a quarterback draw. And I think that's a good play if they catch him in man coverage, because the linebackers are forced to go with the flare backs.
Keep an eye out for me.
Donnie Davis picks up 5, 2nd and 5 for the Cummings Cavaliers. Ball at the 19-yard line. Davis with a long count. He'll drop straight back.
Good protection.
There he goes to intended for Maurice Mevin, and he got clocked there by Mike Morton coming across. Mike Morton also getting some help from Chad Blackwelder. Blackwelder and Morton both going both ways in this very important 3A title football game.
A heck of a hit there by Blackwelder. Excellent coverage.
Let's go down to Lane Harris for a McDonald's sideline update.
It's a big sideline hit you saw just in by Mike Morton, but Mike Morton's playing a big job on the other side of the ball, offense. The Cummings defense, next time they have the ball, Al Brown has the ball, are switching to Morton's side and playing strong. Watch for Blakeney rolling out away from Morton, and the offense dragging Morton across the field, and Blakeney hit him with the pass.
Davis, quick pass right that time to Mandrell Reeves, and Reeves has got the first down as he gets across the 25, and he's out of bounds at the 26.
That's a clutch play.
7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. And it is surprising this high-powered offense of Burlington Cummings has not cracked the scoreboard yet.
Yet they're still in the ball game because they've been able to contain Brown on defense. Very surprising on both ends.
And that was an interesting thing, too, because Dave Gutschall was a little worried about his defense. They've had some lapses in the playoffs. He said, we'll go out there, we'll play a couple of good quarters, then we'll just go out to lunch for a little while. But so far, they played very well. Davis with a pumps again, going downfield, and he's got the ball to Mandrell Reeves. 2 straight plays, and Reeves goes out of bounds at the 50-yard line.
Well, that time, hit the fade area, hit the zone area in front of it and outside the safeties in the 2-deep zone coverage, and over the underneath coverage are the people playing the short zones. He pumps there a little bit, hits him right on the sideline before the safety can get there. Good play. Right, you can see it over the underneath coverage. That's the people covering the short zones and outside in front of the 2-deep safeties.
23-yard pickup for Mandrell Reeves. 6 receptions tonight for 65 yards. Reeves going into motion. And he should go out of your picture as he does. Davis rolling to the right. Drills that ball over there to Mandrell, to Maurice Mevin, and Mevin down to the 45 and into Kannapolis Brown territory. And this is really the first time that Cummings has been in Brown territory for a long time in this football game.
Well, they had one drive first half that they threatened, but watch Reese. Looks like a 2 or 3 yard gain. Watch this young freshman split these 2 tacklers. Just turn it upfield. That's what you like to see a receiver do, run north and south. 2nd and 3, 7-yard pickup on the preceding play. Ball at the 44-yard line, almost to the 44 of Kannapolis Brown. Sidelines are to the right, wide field to the left. Donnie Davis in trouble. He's being hotly pursued. He gets the ball off downfield, and it's complete to Louis Penix. Penix at the 31-yard line, and all of a sudden, that Burlington Cummings Cavalier offense has come to life and starting to look impressive and just choking out big bits of real estate. Watch this play by Davis. First play, they don't have a contained block, so he runs around it. He's moving to his left, the right-hander, yet drills a strike. Nice play by Penix. Great athletic play by Donnie Davis.
13-yard pickup, and that is tough for a right-hander to do. Roll to the left and throw on the dead run. Donnie Davis did it so well, but then again, he's thrown for almost 3,700 yards coming into this ball game. The all-time leading passer in North Carolina history, handing off to Buddy Fowler, and Fowler is going to get stacked up and lose possibly 4 yards.
That's the first rush play by Cummings this half, with the exception of Donnie Davis on a scramble and a quarterback draw.
Tried to come to the weak side and see if they could get Kannapolis Brown napping. Not so. Kannapolis Brown defense has answered every challenge which has come its way tonight. 5 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the third period. Brown leading Cummings by a 3-0 score. Donnie Davis possibly checking off at the line of scrimmage. Sidelines to the left, wide side of the field to the right. Buddy Fowler, your lone setback. Donnie Davis straight back to pass. Rolling now, fading to the right, gets the ball upfield to Lee Crawford. Crawford the catch at the 24-yard line.
Good clean tackle by free safety Reggie Wells, the captain. Good hit. Stopped him short of the first down.
Donnie Davis, 5 straight completions right now.
I don't think they've totally found the key to this Kannapolis coverage, but what they have done is allowed Davis a little more time to find a man open.
Third and let's make it 3. Ball at the 24. Cummings has to get down to the 21. Deepest penetration of the evening for the Cavaliers of Burlington Cummings. Mandrell Reeves in motion. Donnie Davis rolling to the left. Gets the ball complete to Maurice Mebane. And Mebane, the big tight end, the freshman, swerves maybe to the 22-yard line as Donnie Davis completes his 6th straight pass. And that is going to bring up a very important 4th down call right here.
Again, watch this big tackle by Carl Lipscomb. You get a ball to an athlete like Davis in the flat, like Maurice Mebane in the flat, but you want him to go one-on-one, but Lipscomb answers the challenge.
Ball at the 22-yard line, 4th and 1 for Burlington Cummings. Biggest offensive play of the evening for the defending state 3A champions, the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. The Kannapolis Brown Wonder defense has been superb this evening. Donnie Davis is going to throw. He's got to complete the Mandrell Reeves out of bounds, just shy of the 15-yard line, and the Cummings Cavaliers will keep the drive alive.
Just a simple little hitch route. They used it on the start of this drive on a key 3rd down play.
Nice camera work there, too.
Beautiful. Mandrell Reeves just 3-4 yards upfield, turns, and the ball's there.
Reeves is a veteran. He's a junior, and he did the right thing. He made sure he caught the football. He wrapped it up, and then he figured out that he had to go upfield after that. He did everything correct on that play. Notice Cummings throwing for the first down with a 4th and 1. Sidelines to the left, open field to the right. Donnie Davis back looking for the screen. He's got it to Buddy Fowler. 15, 10, 5. Buddy Fowler still churning.
There's a penalty down, Rich. I think it's going to go against Burlington Cummings.
What do you think it is, Tom? You think the position of the field looks like it is probably a motion legal procedure. That's what it will be. Let's see if we can pick it up. We're a little tight on this play, so I don't think we're going to pick it up. But there's the screen right there to Buddy Fowler.
This screen has worked well for him tonight. It's the 3rd time they've run it. Good blocking downfield.
You know, Buddy Fowler's not a big kid. He's only 5'7", 160 pounds. He's not afraid to dip that shoulder.
1st and 15 for the Cavaliers.
Burlington Cummings now faced with a 1st and 15. Moves the ball back to the 21-yard line. And you don't like to give away 5 yards for illegal procedure penalties.
Not when you're down to the 5-yard line, it's nullified.
And not when you're losing 3-0 to a tough defense. Donnie Davis, little mix-up, I think, in the route right there. Ball was intended for Maurice Mebane. Donnie Davis completing 6 of 8 passes on this drive for 62 yards.
Pass intended for Lee Crawford.
Lee Crawford was the intended receiver across the way. Donnie Davis looking over to his coach, Dave Gutshaw.
Well, he's 16 for 25 on the day, but the 2 things by that second, great job by the coverage, not just the secondary, but the underneath linebackers for Kannapolis A.L. Brown. Not only have they done a great job of containing, but also they've made a lot of great tackles after the catch.
Kannapolis Brown calling a timeout. We've got a timeout on the field with 3:14 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back after this brief timeout. 3 minutes and 14 seconds remain in the third quarter of play. Burlington Cummings mounting its first real drive of the evening. 2nd and 15 from the 21-yard line of the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Donnie Davis, the Cavalier quarterback. Sidelines are to the left. The strong side of the field to the right. Buddy Fowler is your lone setback. Double slot back formation. Davis back across the middle of Penix. Lewis Penix, and the play is broken up nicely. Good hard hit, and it is Reggie Wells doing the breaking up there. Reggie Wells, the senior co-captain.
He's made a couple plays, outstanding plays this quarter. Just reacting to the ball, making the contact a couple times after the catch. This time, boom, right at simultaneous.
That is good defense right there. 3rd and 15. Cummings only 2 for 8 in third down conversions tonight. Davis, your quarterback. Going with a long count again. He'll drop straight back. Floating has the time. Puts the ball up there. Ball is tipped and it is intercepted. Is that Mike Morton with the interception? Let's see who it is. Across the way. Who comes up with that football? It was Carl Lipscomb. Mike Morton was right there, but it was Carl Lipscomb with the interception off of the tip. And he practiced those tip drills so often, Tom Lancetto. And there you see why it pays off.
Let's see who gets the tip. Come back. Oh, there's Wells, I believe, gets the tip.
Yeah, our friend Reggie Wells with the tip right there. How about that? And Carl Lipscomb right there. Carl Lipscomb with a good hit there. That looked like Lee Crawford. But Brown weathers that storm, puts the ball in play at their own 12-yard line. Blakeney hands off to the second man around. That will be Carl Lipscomb. You've heard that name on offense and defense. He's going both ways tonight, playing in the most important game of his football career.
Tony Johnson from his defensive tackle position did a good job. He didn't make the tackle, but he took the trap blocker on and squeezed it down inside so there was no place for the ball carrier to run.
Pickup of 1. 2nd and 9. Brown operating at his own 13-yard line. Maurice Blakeney, your quarterback, I formation. Carter the fullback, Lipscomb the tailback, goes to the first man through Carter. He gets across the 15, maybe made it to the 18.
Derek Evans on the tackle.
Pickup of 5.
Derek Evans made the stop, a 10th grader. Another one of the fine young players. Both defensive ends are sophomores here for the Cummings Cavaliers.
3rd down, short 4. Split backfield this time. Carter and Lipscomb. Blakeney gives it to Lipscomb. Lipscomb across the 20. How to get to the 22-yard line for the first down.
I'm going to say he has it this time, Rich.
Brought down by Tyrone Maxton.
Tom Lancetto, that old riverboat gambler, calls it right this time.
That was a little easier that time, but I'll tell you, that's a key first down. I mean, they're able to grind it out, 3.5 yards on each play, and I know it's what A.L. Brown would like to do this entire ball game. And it was a good job by Cummings' defensive front. We've talked about A.L. Brown's secondary and their coverage, but Cummings' defensive front's been also surprising.
Carl Lipscomb has been key on this offensive drive as Brown is trying to work a little clock and also get some good operating field position. There's Lipscomb one more time. Lipscomb's interception, by the way, Tom, ended a 13-play, 78-yard drive by Burlington Cummings. The one thing that Brown has to be concerned about right now is that Cummings is starting to show that it can move the football, and a 3-point lead against Cummings may not be that much. There's our friend Carl Lipscomb with the football.
Wade comes flying from his outside linebacker position to make the initial hit, and that's going to hurt right there if Carl Lipscomb has been a big factor in this game. Timeout by A.L. Brown. Interesting point on that 13-play drive, Rich, is one, it was a great drive by Cummings because their ability with no big play to control the ball. But on the other hand, if you take take a look at A.L. Brown's defense, Donnie Davis has a lot of completions tonight, but they have made the tackles. The receiver's yardage after the catch has not been what it has in previous games. They've contained the short pass. Every time Davis has gone up deep, they've broken it up or come up with an interception. So it was a great execution by Cummings' offense on that 13-play drive, but on the other hand, the execution was equally good on defense.
Tom, what you're talking about is good fundamental football, and there is Bruce Harden, the fellow in the knitted cap right there. He's the fellow that obviously is running the program that's teaching these kids how to tackle. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I think an open field tackle is one of the hardest things to do in football, especially against some great fast athletes like Cummings has.
Well, it takes athletes to do it, but it also takes a lot of practice. And they're real sure of themselves on defense. They really have a lot of confidence.
I think Dave Gutschall right there has got to be a little bit concerned right now. 32 seconds remaining in the third quarter. His team has not put any points on the board, and right now, Kannapolis Brown controlling the football a little bit offensively. I think one thing that really hurt Cummings too, that penalty, the illegal procedure penalty after they got the ball down to the 5-yard line, brought the ball all the way back to the 21-yard line. Actually, not a 5-yard penalty, a 16-yard penalty. No question. Second down, 10. Blakeney back, long pass downfield. Oh, he's got Darrell Allison. Flags on the play. Darrell Allison caught the ball at the 35. He slid down to the 30, and if it is a face masking Tom Lancetto, that could put the football down very close to the 15-yard line. There are some flags down on the field.
It may be holding before the catch. I think Donnie Davis knew he was beat a little bit deep and may have reached out before the catch, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I think if that's the case, that penalty is going to be declined.
It's good coverage, but just a perfect throw by Maurice Blakeney. You can see, okay, face guarding. They're going to call face guarding on Don Davis, which in high school is illegal. You have to play the ball.
Interference against the defense.
Darrell Allison tonight, 2 receptions for 78 yards. It was his catch, which set up Brown's first and only score of the evening. The only score in this football game. Ball just shy of the Cummings 29-yard line. Sidelines to the right, wide side of the field to the left. High formation, Carter your fullback. Goes to the second man's room. He's got a big gaping hole. Carrying that football down there for Kannapolis Brown. Michael Barnes down to the 7-yard line. Michael Barnes just coming into that Brown lineup, giving Carl Lipscomb a break. 22-yard pickup for Michael Barnes.
That's the biggest running play of the game for either team. Just a quick hitter. Good blocking up front. Good turnout block. That was number 66 for A.L. Brown. He's not a starter. That's David Nichols, offensive lineman. Beautiful turnout block.
And that is going to end the third quarter of play. A big 22-yard run by Michael Barnes, a 5'10", 175-pound sophomore. We'll return with the fourth and final period after these messages from our local stations. This is the Telesport High School Network.
It's 3-0 A.L. Brown. We're going to flash the rushing stats. A.L. Brown's beginning to pick up more yards on the ground. Their biggest play was that last one over the left side. That was David Nichols is the starter. The left guard had an excellent block along with Chad Blackwelder and Joe Willis.
Cummings answered the challenge defensively last time Brown was in this area. Brown had to settle for a field goal. Let's see what happens here. First and goal from the 7. Blakeney giving the football over to Carl Lipscomb. Flag on the play. It's in an area where it usually means holding, Tom. And if that's the case, that could really be a very expensive penalty for Brown.
Tyrone Jeffers in on the play. Yeah, you hit it exactly right. We had, as you mentioned, a big penalty on the screen pass. We'll see if we can catch the holding. Yeah, I believe it was in on the left side of the line there somewhere. You can see on the left side of your screen, but that's a big play and all, it kind of offsets the penalty on the screen pass. So we've had 2 big penalties with both teams in scoring position.
Moves football back to the 14-yard line. I formation. 2 split ends though. Blakeney, your quarterback. Blakeney giving it off to Carl Lipscomb. Lipscomb trying to turn upfield, and he'll get maybe to the 12-yard line. And if he does, it'll be a pickup of a pair. On a first and goal situation from the 14. Now will be second and goal from just shy of the 12-yard line.
Good support from Lee Crawford out of the secondary to make that play.
Tom, that end zone is very slippery and icy back there. Would you, as an offensive coach, use that?
Well, I think I wouldn't worry about it. I just run my offense, call the plays, just let the field conditions take care of themselves.
Second and goal, Blakeney back to pass. He drills it into the end zone. It was actually closer to Donnie Davis than it was to Reggie Wells. So now it's 3rd and 13, and you're exactly right. Good pressure that time by the Cummings defense, and it's been the Cummings defense which has really responded to the challenges tonight.
Well, both defenses have. Let's face it. People are going, if they knew it was 3-0 at this point in the 4th quarter and they weren't at this game, they would say, oh, the field conditions were disastrous. We got perfect field conditions. We're just seeing great defense execution out of both teams.
Yeah, we're seeing snow down there on the sidelines and a slick end zone, which Brown is driving to right now, but that playing field itself per se is in excellent field condition. 3rd down conversions for Brown tonight, only 3 out of 10. 0 for 2 on 3rd and long situations, and that's what they face here. And another flag being thrown. Too much time called on Brown. Brown taking themselves right out of a scoring situation. Had the ball down to the 7-yard line, set up on a real fine catch by Darrell Allison, and a nice run by Michael Barnes. But now a series of penalties have moved the ball from the 7-yard line and have moved it back to the 18.
Well, Mike Morton was all alone out here. There was a little bit of confusion in the Cummings secondary, but it was Annapolis that called the timeout. But Mike Morton was all alone out here momentarily.
Passing situation for Blakeney. He's going to give it off on the inside scissor play right that time. And look at Fred Carter. He's going to take it in for the touchdown. What a call by Bruce Harden, calling that scissor play, coming back, a counter. Fred Carter with a touchdown.
Great run by Carter. We got a couple good blocks in the secondary down there, but he dipped it inside and broke it wide and found the corner. It looked like Cummings was going to have it contained, and just a beautiful run by Carter.
I take that back. That may have been Reggie Wells coming in out of a slot position. It was 80, not 30. My mistake on that. Reggie Wells for the touchdown.
Wells has played a great ball game on defense.
The 8 looked like a 3 at that situation. There's Ben Johnson's extra point. It is up. It is good. Kannapolis Brown going out to a 10-0 lead over the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Reggie Wells. He's done it on both sides of the football tonight. And what a big touchdown right here. On the inside, reverse the scissor play.
Watch him dip it inside and break it wide.
What nice
and then we had a great block on the left side. That may have been 82 more. But that was 18-yard by Wells.
18-yard touchdown run by Reggie Wells.
Watch 2 things here. First, the move by Wells. It looks like it's contained by Cummings. Will dips it in, then breaks it wide. There's an unblocked man, and you'll see the block by Morton right there. Great camera work by our crew, but Reggie Wells had himself a super ball game tonight. As you mentioned, a very, very good call.
defensively and offensively. Right now, I think if you had to vote for a player of the game, you'd have to go with number 80, Reggie Wells. Kannapolis Brown going out to a 10-0 lead. One thing that Dave Gutschall says about his Burlington Cummings Cavaliers, when they take the field, they refuse to lose. They just say, we are going to win every game. We go out there and they refuse to lose. They will be tested right now. Lee Crawford fields it high at the 5-yard line. He's to the 10, he's to the 15, 20. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, this is interesting.
What in the world happened there?
Delay a game. They call it delay a game on Kannapolis on the kickoff.
Well, I didn't hear any whistles from up here, and our sideline mics apparently didn't pick any up.
Well, the guy with the clock, the referee, is back in the end zone. It's hard for him to communicate from that position on the kickoff. And he's the guy with the clock, and he made an accurate call.
Bruce Harden wondering what happened, too. I don't feel so badly now trying to figure out what was going on.
When it's simultaneous, so it's a good call, just a difficult call to make with a noisy crowd here in the evening, and especially if the call was made just almost before it was kicked off. So, but he was able to whistle it dead, and they'll kick again from the 35.
Big scoring drive there for Kannapolis Brown. 11 plays, 88 yards, eating up 4 minutes and 1 second of the clock. Reggie Wells, the 18-yard run.
And a big pass again to Darrell Allison to help set that touchdown up.
Here we go with the kickoff again, and it looks like this one will be all clean and legal. Fielded by Crawford. They got the 12, and he's going to get a little bit of running room this time, and he gets up to the 37-yard line. Now for a McDonald's sideline update, let's go to Don Shea.
Rich, this is the first time Burlington Cummings has been held scoreless going into the fourth period this year. Twice they've been in the scoring zone, only to have passes intercepted. On that last touchdown run by Kannapolis Brown, Maurice Medman came off the field, the tight end, who was going both ways. He was batting his shoulder, but I went to the bench. Seems to be okay. Expect him to be back in. Number 7. Back to you.
Big series right here for the defending state 3A champion Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Donnie Davis back to pass, and he's going to turn it upfield. He's going to do some running. 45, looking to get the midfield, crosses midfield, down to the 46-yard line of Kannapolis Brown, and he took a big chunk of real estate right there. Pick up of 17 yards. Hard to say really, Tom, whether that was a scramble or a design play.
Well, I think it was a scramble, but I think it's a case of a great athlete in the fourth quarter that's going to try to take over this ball game.
And he has done it so many times. Burlington Cummings has been trailing in its last 7 football games. Make that 8 right now. And this is a big challenge. But they've also won 29 games in a row. Will they continue it tonight? Donnie Davis, 7 rushes for 22 yards, got 175 yards passing. Davis back to pass. Ball in the air intended for Maurice Medman. Broken up.
For Maurice Medman.
That time the safety got over there. The ball floated a little bit. It was on the sidelines. But
Tim Atwell,
the senior, got over to make the play. He has an interception already today, and he has 10 on the season. He's playing the quarterback side. You can see him coming over from a safety position.
2nd and 10 for the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Ball at the 46-yard line of the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. 20 Fowler, your lone setback. Johnny Davis back to pass, setting up the screen, getting it to Buddy Fowler, and that ball was broken up very well that time by Greg Jones.
Boy, did Jones read that well. Usually a designated rusher, but he read the screen that time, almost picked it off.
Donnie Davis's last 5 passes, incomplete, incomplete, interception, incomplete, incomplete.
Great play by Greg Jones.
And the thing is, he did the safe thing first. He broke the play up. A lot of guys would probably try for an interception. Had he missed it, Buddy Fowler would have gotten some good yardage. He did the prudent thing. 3rd and 10. Donnie Davis back to pass. Over the middle. Ball intended for Lee Crawford. Incomplete at the 39-yard line.
Lee Crawford came back to the ball, but it just slipped slipped through his hands.
Donnie Davis was under some heat that time, too, as he hit the deck after the ball was thrown. Good pressure applied that time by the Kannapolis Brown defense, and what a game plan Bruce Harden and his staff have come up with to virtually shut down the Burlington Cummings offense. Dave Gutschall right there just shaking his head going, what in the world is happening here? Hard to believe, but Burlington Cummings and that potent offense being shut down. Hard to believe, but Burlington Cummings and that potent offense being shut down by a strong Kannapolis Brown defense. Snell's punt, not a good one. He's not going to be happy with that one. It'll roll dead at about the 28-yard line. 9 minutes and 18 seconds remain to be played in this football game. The Kannapolis Brown Wonders 10, the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers nothing. We'll be back with the final 9 minutes and 18 seconds of this game after this brief timeout.
Officials timeout.
After 3 quarters of play, Burlington Cummings' high-powered offense has been held only 183 yards by a strong Kannapolis Brown defense. Cummings averages 365 yards a game, so you can see the fine job that Brown is doing. There's Carl Lipscomb. Squirts across the 30 to the 33. Picks up about 4 yards on the carry. Clock moving. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in this football game. Kannapolis Brown leading Burlington Cummings by a 10-0 score. Bruce Harden, the fine coach of the Kannapolis Brown Wonders, in his 4th title game in North Carolina high school play. At his 3rd different school. He's lost all 3 previous trips to the finals, and he told me earlier, he said, yeah, everybody calls me the bridesmaid. I'll tell you, he's no bridesmaid. Oh, look at this, blatantly on the quarterback, naked reverse right there, and he's finally drilled out of bounds by Lewis Penix at the 43-yard line, but he gets the first down.
Boy, do we have some blocking downfield. Kenny Miller, one of the wide receivers, had an excellent block. There was a double team. I'm not too sure who the other receiver was, but they doubled up on one of Burlington Cummings secondary guys, and that opened it up for Maurice Blake to gain on a naked keep.
I think Brown's starting to act like sharks in blood right now. I think they're starting to sense big things. They're firing off the football just a little bit harder right now. 8:22 remaining in the game. Handoff straight ahead to Michael Barnes. He's across the 45. Kannapolis Brown on top, 10-0. Barnes just a sophomore in a backfield which is really underclassmen, but the front line, all seniors across, and they are starting to dominate right now for the Kannapolis Brown Wonders. That was a pickup of 4 yards, 2nd and 6. Ball at the 47-yard line. This time it goes to Fred Carter, and Carter running with authority. Not only has the first down, he takes the football down to close to the 45-yard line of the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers, but more important at this point, Tom Lancettle, is the fact that Kannapolis Brown is now starting to milk the clock.
That's right. Look at the offensive line fire off the ball. Excellent surge. Tony Johnson broke through there and finally made the play, but good offensive ball control by Kannapolis.
Shifting positions right there. Mike Morton. There's the pitch over to Michael Barnes. Barnes gets himself across the 45. Down to about the 43-yard line.
What a tackle by Crawford that time.
Now for a McDonald's sideline update. Let's go down to Lane Harris.
Cummings quarterback Donnie Davis is having a hard time out there tonight. He's got receivers open, but he's having a hard time hitting them. And this is Janie Harris out there, number 3. On the other side of the ball, A.O. Brown's going to be keeping the ball on the ground the rest of the way, trying to grind out that clock. Back upstairs, guys.
2nd and 8. Ball at the 43-yard line of the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. And that's exactly what Kannapolis Brown wants to do. Keep it on the ground, try to get those first downs, control the ball. Carl Lipscomb, and he gets down to maybe the 40. A whole host of blue and gold jerseys meet him there.
Excellent gang tackling by Cummings defense. I think most people, including Coach Gutschall and staff, felt like they could hold this team to 10 points or less, they would probably win. But watch this gang tackle. There's no quit in this Cummings team. Crawford making a first hit there. He's had a tremendous ball game on both sides of the ball.
Moving Morton again over over to the weak side right. Blakeney, your quarterback, giving it over to Michael Barnes, and he goes to the weak side, and Michael Barnes has got the first down. And what that does is that just keeps the football in the hands of Kannapolis Brown, and it keeps the clock running.
Well, there's a penalty there, and I think we're going to have another hold on Kannapolis. Well, Cliff, there was a crackback block. Somebody came in from the outside and blocked below the belt or in the back.
Well, what this does now, Tom Lancettle, is this gives Burlington Cummings some new life with the opportunity of getting this football back and doing something with it. This is a team, Burlington Cummings, which is very capable of striking very quickly with big yardage, although they have not been able to do it tonight. There's the clipping call. Moves the football back into Brown territory, back to the 47-yard line. 3rd and 17.
Well, that offensive line's doing a heck of a job.
Maurice Blakeney, your quarterback, he has gone the distance, the I formation. Let's see if Blakeney puts it up or whether he keeps it on the ground. He's going to drop straight back. He wants to throw it. Oh, he's going to air it out. He's going to air it out deep, and he's going way down there for Reggie Wells! Oh, Reggie Wells! 53 yards! Kannapolis Brown scoring 2 long touchdowns after penalties seemingly killed drives. How about that? And the fans from Kannapolis are sensing victory.
Beautiful, beautiful play. Reggie Wells just on the streak on the 3rd and 20. Ran by the defense. Blakeney, who has been on target all night long, put it up deep, and it was a touchdown.
Ben Johnson in to attempt the extra point. 16-0. Kannapolis Brown going on top of the defending state 3A champion, Burlington Cummings Cavaliers. Cummings has been ranked number 1 in the state for the last 29 polls. The kick is up. The kick is good. It is 17-0. Kannapolis Brown going after its first state football championship as his coach, Bruce Harden.
Blakeney has plenty of time, quick fake, but he just launches it deep, and I mean, it was on the money. Wells having a step. Perfect pass, perfect catch. Second touchdown for Wells.
Beating Lewis Penix on the play, and Reggie Wells having himself one dandy of a football game tonight. Reggie Wells playing in his final football game at Kannapolis Brown, a town which takes its high school football very seriously. Reggie Wells, 5'7", 140 pounds, just proves that there still is room in football for the guy who doesn't quite weigh 200 pounds.
Reggie Wells opened the season this year with a rope at 89 with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Which, how about that? And it appears that he's going to close it with 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter.
And he closes it with a bomb. Wow. Lee Crawford with a return. He's up to the 20, and he'll be nailed out of bounds at the 26-yard line. 5-yard return.
38-pounder. Reggie Wells has broken this game open, along with a lot of other Kannapolis players who have taken control. Let's don't forget those offensive linemen who come to play in the 4th quarter here.
5 minutes and 23 seconds remain. Brown on top of Cummings, 17-0.
First and 10 for the Cavaliers, number 20.
You still can't rule Burlington Cummings out, though. This team does have the fast striking capability, although, to be honest, they have not shown it at all this evening. The Kannapolis Brown defense has stymied this potent offensive attack. Donnie Davis, the quarterback. He's just a junior. Screen pass to Buddy Fowler. He slips in high school ball. You cannot get up. And he's going to lose about 3 yards on that one. Moves the ball from the 26 back to the 23. Loses 3 yards on the play.
The screen has worked well for him. I don't believe that was screen. It's just a little quick check release pass. But as you mentioned, Fowler slipped. And
And he's not all too happy with himself on that one either, but he's played a fine football game. 2nd and 13 for the Cavaliers of Burlington Cummings. Time, not their ally right now. 4 minutes and 43 seconds left in this game. Donnie Davis, straight back to pass, going over the middle, and the ball is complete. It's complete to Lee Crawford. Breaks a couple of tackles, gets up to the 39-yard line. He's got the first down.
Crawford's a heck of a player. He'll be back next year along with a good number of these Cummings players. I believe they're going to return 17 of their starters.
First down for the Cummings Cavaliers. Ball at the 39-yard line, their own 39. Donnie Davis, 19 for 36 tonight, 189 yards. He's thrown 3 interceptions. Davis, straight back to pass again. Guns it over the middle. It's complete to Lewis Penix. Penix at the 46-yard line.
Wells on the hit
of Kannapolis Brown. 15-yard pickup on that play. Kannapolis Brown leading Cummings 17-0. Burlington Cummings, the defending state 3A champion, as we mentioned a little while ago, number 1 in the state of North Carolina in the 3A ranks for the past 29 football polls. Donnie Davis checking again at the line of scrimmage. Lone setback, Buddy Fowler. Davis back. Gets a little bit of pressure that time. Gets rid of the football, and a nice catch right there. Ball taken in by, looks like Lee Crawford. Yeah, it was Lee Crawford at the 33-yard line. Cummings starting to chew up some yardage right now.
Terrific player. Still fighting, still balanced. So is Lee Crawford. But the thing that impresses me about this Kannapolis defense is they've given up some receptions, but they're making the play after the catch.
Good wrist action there by Donnie Davis, too. Shows that he's got a very strong arm. He pumps. Going now downfield, going to Mandrell Reese. What a catch right there. Acrobatics down to the 10-yard line. Down to the 10-yard line, and this is the deepest that Burlington Cummings has gotten tonight. They got to the 5-yard line. That play was called back because of a penalty. So let's watch it right now as Cummings goes the deepest it has all evening. Another good wrist flick there by Donnie Davis. Oh, look at that, Tom. Wow. Good concentration. Mandrell Reeves. 3 minutes, 18 seconds. Clock moving. 3:18 left in this game. Donnie Davis calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. He has not lost a game at quarterback in his career. Here he goes, the quarterback draw. Donnie Davis breaks one tackle, still on his feet. Oh, he's tripped up at the 3-yard line. Donnie Davis tripped up at the 3-yard line.
That time they had him in man coverage. They took Fowler in motion to get rid of the middle linebacker. It was 5-on-4 up the middle, well-designed play.
Well, Tom, one thing that does, though, it keeps the clock running. And time, as we mentioned, not an ally, is Donnie Davis going on the quarterback draw. Some good moves right there. Just tripped up. 2:33, and the clock is moving. Davis back to pass. Wants that play again. Oh, was he horse-collared that time? Horse-collared by Mike Morton. There's a fellow that came into the game with 204 tackles. That might have been one of the big ones of his career right there.
Mike Morton, that's his first blitz to the game. That's the first time he's blitzed. It comes with a sack.
The action as we see Mike Morton downfield there. Mike Morton,
here's
good senior leader.
Morton. Right there, that's the first time they've played it straight the entire game. That time they came with a blitz, Morton up the middle, he makes the play.
And boy, there's a case for tearaway jerseys right there, too. 2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in this football game. Timeout on the field. Kannapolis Brown leading the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers 17-0. Dave Gutshaw out on the field talking to his football team. And as he mentioned, these players feel that they are going to win every time they go out there. He says this team refuses to lose. It has been a good comeback team, but with 2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining and only 17 points down, that might be asking a little bit too much to come back. But if any team can do it, maybe in North Carolina, this could be the team. We're possibly Richmond County, the 4A champions. Big call right here, third down. Cummings can get a first down without getting the touchdown. Donnie Davis, ball right there out of the hands of Maurice Mebin. Little, you take it out of one, you can have it. Actually, it'll be intercepted, but it'll be out of bounds.
That was a hot potato.
Out of bounds, so no catch either way on that one. Went out of the hands of Maurice Mebin, the freshman. You're going to be hearing that name quite a bit. Donnie Davis again rolling to the left, hard to do, but he put a ball right there, went through Mebin's hands, and boy, that was, as you described it, Tom, a hot potato right there. Well, nobody caught it, but then who was there? Again, our friend Reggie Wells. Fourth down. Now Cummings will be attempting a field goal.
I think the logic here is they're 17 down. They convert this.
Bobby Morrow. It's up and it is no good. And with that, you could almost say that the season of the Burlington Cummings Cavaliers, their reign as the state 3A champion, could very possibly have come to an end.
Well, they've got a lot to be proud of. This is probably a better coaching job by Coach Gutschall and his staff, and an excellent job by their players to get this far. They're a very, very young team.
Well, let's look at it this way, too. They lost 18 starters last year, and Dave Gutschall could not believe it when he was voted #1 in the preseason poll. But what did he do? Go out and win 14 straight games this year, and he has his team back in the state title game.
Against the Wonders, moves the ball back to the 9.
Penalty on Kannapolis Brown. Holding moved the football back to the 9-yard line, making it first down and 20. Brown just wanting to work out the clock right now, and it is moving, 1 minute and 45 seconds. And off on the inside right there. And protecting the football is Fred Carter. That's keeps the clock moving.
Play there by Tony Johnson, a defensive tackle, also just a sophomore, and he's had a fine game. There have been so many great players on defense on both sides of the ball, on both teams in tonight's ball game, Rich. Tremendous effort by both teams.
Well, a little bit of irony here, if we can point it out, for Bruce Harden, who took his West Charlotte team to the 4A title game last year. They lost 17-0 to state champion Richmond County. This year, he comes in with a new team, the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown, and it looks as though he's going to win his first state championship and Kannapolis Brown's first state championship by a 17-0 score.
Well, Bruce Harden, also the athletic director, has an outstanding football staff, and they've always had a great football program at Kannapolis, but they've got to be especially pleased with Coach Harden and what he's done with the team this year. Nancy Bell, the principal, tremendous organization there at Kannapolis. Also, we should congratulate the Cummings. They're here for the second year in a row, and I think a tremendous achievement. Dave Gutschall, the coach and athletic director, his staff, and the principal, Jay Freeman of Burlington Cummings High School. Two fine schools and super athletic programs. There's Dave Gutschall, tremendous coaches, and both these teams will be back here possibly real soon.
Well, the thing with Dave Gutschall is he's got a lot of these key players coming back, and he's just an outstanding coach. His record proves it. He's got his key players coming back, and chances are excellent that they will be back here again. David Nichols being helped off of the field for the Kannapolis Brown Wonders. And as we talk about, you mentioned the name Nancy Bell, the principal down at Kannapolis Brown. I was talking to her just prior to coming on the air, and I asked her, what is a wonder? And she said, we really don't have a mascot or anything. A wonder, she said, is something kind of like maybe a Superman, a Wonder Woman, the Batman, something like that, some supernatural hero. And the name goes back maybe many, many years ago, when they first started out, they had a little football team, and somebody said, yeah, it's a wonder we even have a team out there. And somehow the name Wonder has stuck, and the Kannapolis Brown Wonders they're just 57 seconds away from being officially crowned the 1989 North Carolina 3A football champion.
I wonder, speaking of wondering,
Well, there's Blakeney right there. Yeah, he says, I'm not going out of bounds. Look at that. That's a smart football player right there. A junior. He slid, went down so he didn't have to go out of bounds, and that'll keep the old clock moving.
I wonder what Nancy Bell's going to do about any tardies tomorrow morning at school.
I think we'll all look the other way, won't we? Or you better, Nancy. I don't know. Brown's only other championship appearance was in 1984, losing to Tarboro by a 20-0 score. Look at this Blakeney right here, too, Tom. He sees that he's going to go out of bounds, and he says, no, I'm not going to go out of bounds. We're going to keep the clock running. Blakeney, 7 carries tonight for 30 yards, and he's safe sliding into third base right there.
Good block downfield by Darrell Allison, number 18.
You know, Darrell Allison really made 2 big plays which really had some impact in this game. He only had 2 catches, but they were for 78 yards and set up the first field goal and the first touchdown for Kannapolis Brown. And in a sense, that really was the football game right there as far as the scoring is concerned. 44 seconds on the clock as Cummings did use a timeout to stop it. 4th down for Brown, and Blakeney will be punting it away. Gets it off. Low driving kick. Gets a very friendly bounce that time. Rolls all the way down and out of bounds at the 29-yard line of Burlington Cummings. And I know the one thing Cummings is looking at right now, you're not going to see this team quit. Cummings wants to get something on the board because this is a football team that brought such a high-powered offense in here, averaging almost 32 points a game, and to be completely shut down, it's got to be a tough pill to swallow, but I'll tell you, they have been shut down by one fine defense and one fine defensive game plan tonight.
Well, I'm not too sure who was responsible for the game plans, probably the staff together, but let's also mention Mike Lambert, the defensive coordinator, and also for Kannapolis Brown, who I'm sure had a hand in this scheme that they came up with on defense.
And there's a fighter, you just saw him, Dave Gutshaw, hanging in there. Here's Donnie Davis. He's going to go back. He wanted to air it out. He fumbles the football, and it's going to be picked up by Greg Jones, and Greg Jones takes it in for the touchdown. Certainly not the way Burlington Cummings wanted to go out here. Greg Jones. They call this game the trip to Chapel Hill, the trip to the championship game, a memory forever. And Greg Jones not only has a memory of a state championship ring, he's got the memory of a 24-yard return for a touchdown. 26 seconds left in the game. Let's make the score now. The Wonders of Kannapolis Brown 23, the Cavaliers of Burlington Cummings nothing. Ben Johnson in to attempt the extra point and try to tack on that 24th point for Kannapolis Brown. 5th turnover of the evening for Burlington Cummings, a team coming into the game which averaged basically a 2-to-1 takeaway ratio. That's 2 takeaways to every 1 turnover. Hasn't happened tonight. There's Johnson's kick. It is up. It is good. We've got a score now of Kannapolis Brown 24, Burlington Cummings nothing. And the Kannapolis contingent across the way, and there's a big one that came up from Kannapolis, traveling on I-85, liking every minute of it. Here's the play, and that moment for Greg Jones to remember. Donnie Davis gets nailed right there. Ball comes loose. Greg Jones picks it up, takes the bounce, puts his head straight towards that goal line, and look at the celebration afterwards.
Travon Patterson making it the hit, number 76. A senior, another senior on this A.L. Brown defense, emotional leader, made the hit that caused the fumble.
The Wonders of Kannapolis Brown now just 26 seconds away from making it official. They'll be the 1989 North Carolina 3A high school football champion. Brown scoring 21 points here in the 4th quarter. 2 offensively and 1 on that defensive fumble recovery return for a touchdown by Greg Jones. You can just see them across the way, Tom, just waiting to get cranked up and cheer as we have a short kick right there on purpose. by the Wonders of Kannapolis Brown. Burlington Cummings will be putting the ball in play. Appears to be their own 46-yard line. 25 seconds remaining in this football game from Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. A lot of snow on the sidelines, but the playing field in excellent conditions.
Rich, it's been a long day for everybody here with the Telesport production. But we certainly enjoyed both these ball games. Again, congratulations to the North Carolina High School Association for a job well done to pull this off. A lot of people didn't think it could be done. We've had good crowds, we've had good playing conditions, and great ball games. I've had a good time today.
Whoops. Got a little frisky there on the line. Jumping off sides. But at this point, anything that happens in the game, one way or the other, immaterial. You just hope at this point nobody gets hurt. They just play out the final, now 10 seconds of the game.
Well, let's mention it's a big thrill for both these teams to get here, and the seniors on both teams, especially Kannapolis Brown. But
Donnie Davis has had a frustrating evening for the Cummings Cavaliers. The statistics look pretty good right there. 22 completions, 40 attempts, but the 3 interceptions and the 1 fumble really hurt. And he has not thrown for a touchdown. Came in with 32 touchdown passes. That's it. Game is over. The Wonders of Kannapolis Brown, the state 3A high school football champions of North Carolina. Kannapolis Brown 24. The Burlington Cummings Cavalier nothing. We'll return with more after these messages from our local stations. You're watching the Telesport High School Network.